going to VAR. They're checking.
Hey, Kai.
Check complete. Let's head over to the bar.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the VARBAR podcast. I am your host with the most, Andrew, aka Rapping Drew, and we are back again after the England game with a small cast, man. Jake, Press, Mace, how we doing?
All good.
You saying, people?
What's good, everyone?
We're out here, yeah. Nice weather and that.
It's been a beautiful weather.
Have you man been down to the pubs to watch the game, or just been at home?
They would have been locked off at like 11 a.m. this morning, I bet. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I was down this afternoon I saw a bit of the England game out in the pubs. It was actually just packed, to be honest, but yeah.
Man had beer for breakfast and that. man. All right, let's move, man. Because obviously I had a whole episode planned, to be honest, but that, of course, has gone out of the water because of the Eriksen incident yesterday, man. You know, I'm sure people have heard it, but for those that don't know it, and if you happen to listen to this, in the 42nd minute, Eriksen collapsed on the pitch after his teammate passed him the ball, but he seemingly just seemed to fell over the ball, and then it was all a madness, man. I thought this is looking nuts. Jake, I know you was like watching it live and direct as well, man. How did you feel?
I'm still shook, if I'm honest. Like, just because I think I took my gaze away as it happened, and then the play stopped. Like, everyone's running over, and I'm in bewilderment of what's happened. And then I got shared the actual clip of it, and it is just like those couple of steps. Like, it just looks so bad. Yeah. And then tumbled straight to the floor. But the one thing, obviously, we're so happy he's stable. Is such a heartbreaking thing. But the fact that he's hopefully okay, and we can only hope that he continues to get stronger. But credit out there to Samkir, the captain. I mean, the sight of mind to immediately get him in the recovery position, make sure he's not swallowing his tongue, provide CPR. I mean, that just instinctually, utterly fantastic. Anthony Taylor and the referees, obviously referees get a lot of stick for their performance, but to have the wherewithal to immediately just get the medics on the field, recognize what's happened. It is a crazy moment. I do have to criticize the BBC here because they explained afterwards that they weren't in control of the coverage.
Yeah.
But to still to not just cut away immediately, that really just do you
know what? Yeah, because I'm watching the Euros just basically on the BBC, but the Dutch version, and I think worldwide it was the same thing. They showed it. They kept showing it as well because there was a point where the camera zoomed in on him and you could see him shaking. Do you remember? Yeah, I saw that. And that's when I realized what the, because normally they don't even show this kind of, if it's like a horrible injury, they don't show it. If it's like a streaker that comes on the pitch, they don't show it. So this was weird to me. So yeah, I don't know if we should blame BBC because I had the exact same thing and I'm watching it on Dutch TV. So
it's not that I blame BBC for the coverage of it. It's the fact that I really wanted them to cut away.
Yeah.
Get yourself in the studio,
yeah.
But I mean, you saw the reaction of the pundits afterwards. Cess could barely speak. Alex Scott was almost in tears, having to message her mum because that hits home. Because even though it is just a football game, we all know it is just a game. It's just the fact that it was instant. Eriksen's a top level performer. He's one of the people that is going to put in a shift every game.
Yeah,
and he just drops. It's hard to talk about. I'm still a bit iffy from it, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been a different experience for you guys because you were actually watching it live. But for me, I was actually out on the move when it happened. So I obviously saw messages coming through saying this, and that. And, it kind of put me off what I was doing at that time. I couldn't really focus. I just kept thinking, all these messages I'm receiving about, Eriksen collapsing, he's not moving, white sheets are coming out, and you just automatically start thinking the worst and just start praying that he pulls through. And it was just so weird, man. It was such a weird thing. I know that you guys obviously were watching it as it was happening, but for me, it's just like I didn't even like I didn't have any idea what was going on. I just knew that he'd collapsed, and like that just threw me completely off what I was doing.
I mean, just reading the Athletic, they said he was gone. Like his heart stopped beating.
Yeah,
and he had to. Basically, they used a defibrillator to get him, like to resuscitate him, and that was just very incredible by the medical teams. It's not because you
the defibrillator being on deck is what helps in these situations, man.
Yeah, I think what was very, I believe, shocking for me was just the 2 steps he took, and you can see that kind of stage of a guy who obviously a top level athlete who, in terms of breathing, he was fine. The second step, he just looked very, very tired, and then the third step, he was gone. And in those 3 steps, it was shocking, and his heart just stopped beating. So, yeah, it was a very traumatizing kind of scenes yesterday, and it got me really, really down, because honestly, I thought he was gone. I thought, like, with the white sheets out, I thought they were just doing this just for, just to protect Eriksen, but really and truly, he was gone. And that I was thinking the worst. But when I saw the picture and when I heard the good news, it was nice to hear that, because we don't need this after COVID, after everything that's happened. We need football back, and we need to be at least happy. So it's a good. I guess it's a good news. It ended up well in terms of Eriksen's health. But I guess my next question is, what happens to Eriksen from here? Does he continue playing football? Is that his career done?
That's a good question, man. I personally, to answer your question, man, I think he should just call it quits, simply because of his age. He's kind of done it all. Yeah. He's just won the Serie A title. Probably the only thing is missing is the Champions League, but surely what's important after being dead for a couple of minutes is just be with your family, be with your kids, and just chill, man. Like, please.
It's one of those things where, like, if a doctor says, you've got a 99% chance of full recovery if you continue playing football, but there is that 1% chance that it could happen again. It's sort of like, that's where you do have to say, like, nah, it's not worth it. At that point, you'd rather say just be happy and healthy, because he was a fantastic footballer. He still is a fantastic footballer.
Yeah, he is a fantastic footballer.
So, I mean, if he can go out, you can have no regrets for me.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of them ones where he can still be around football. Like, it's not like his contribution to the sport ceases because he can't play football anymore. If he chooses to be involved in the game in some way, I'm sure that there will be establishments, organization, clubs, even punditry, if that's something that he has an affinity for. So there's avenues for him, but I feel like from a health perspective, he should definitely put that first. And I'm sure none of us knows what it's like to die, right? So it's one of those ones where I'm sure he'll come out of this. When he does come out of this happy, healthy, he'll have a new perspective on life altogether, man. And he might even find a new calling, a new passion. Who knows? So
I'm sure he said he couldn't remember the incident, and that is just wow for me.
Yeah, you won't, man. You won't remember it.
Mad.
I'm almost happy for him that he doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
I don't want to remember that.
Yeah, I think for me the heartbreaking scenes was when the camera panned to his wife, and I thought, come on.
Yeah, that was poor. That I do agree. That was poor, man. That was in poor taste, man. I've got a question for you guys though, because obviously, me and Jake had a little back and forth about it yesterday, but eventually they decided to play on. Now, Shalom, let me go to you. What do you think would have been the best option? Was that the best option?
No, it wasn't. I understand why they wanted to play on, but I think because the options were either play on or you play tomorrow at 12.
Yeah.
I think footballers just don't like playing at 12. So I think hence why they've decided to just play on. But it definitely didn't work to their health. It was definitely detrimental to them, because once you've experienced someone dying and being resuscitated in front of you, you need time to recover,
But yeah, they did have contact with Eriksen, and they did kind of got his blessing before they stepped out.
It doesn't
both these
matter, though.
players.
It doesn't matter because, of course, you want to go out and play your footballers. You want to play football. Of course, you want to go out there and play for your teammate who is just, who is doing well. You're galvanized, but it's not going to be the same. You need at least a night to sleep over with. You need psychiatric or whatever, like help. You know what I mean? So I guess like it's football. Yet again, it's corporations. It needs to go on. The show must go on. But
I feel like it did affect the pace of the game as well.
Yeah, of course it did.
I don't know if you guys caught. But
yeah. Because
on Thursday.
obviously we'll discuss that later, because before that game was popping, man. I can't lie. It was a back and forth. It was a derby, Scandinavian derby. So both these teams just wanted to win, man. But we'll discuss that later. My perspective is this, right? Like I 100% agree with you, Shalom. But I think from UEFA's perspective is that, like you said, the show must go on. And also, it would have been extremely techy to sort out everything else. Because for you to cancel this game, you would have to also talk to Russia and Belgium and to see that, and to talk to their FAs, and they have to kind of like agree with, okay, you're either going to give them a point or you get me? It would have to, the logistics of this would have been super long. So I think this is why UEFA kind of had to remove the emotion out of it, because both sets of teams were emotional. They had to be the middleman and be like, okay, this is what we can do. If you guys decide to play on, then you either play on now or 12 next day. Because even like factoring in another like 24-hour later thing is also tight, because the schedule of this Euros is nuts. It's every 2 or 3 days the teams are playing.
Yeah,
so I think from UEFA's perspective, it was very hard. Albeit, I do think like this was a moment for UEFA to show their human side. But at the end of the day, I don't know how they would have continued this whole tournament if they did that, if they cancelled that particular game altogether.
They would have had, sorry, Shalom, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, not to kind of bring down the mood, but it kind of shows me no matter what happened, life does go on, football goes on. We have to make that decision. And UEFA clearly, that was what the choices they gave the Danish national team, either play today or play tomorrow. But regardless, this has to go on. But I think in terms of bringing everything all full circle, we have to be very happy and grateful that Eriksen is fine. Yeah. And that's the most important thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Let's quickly move on from that, man. And let's go on to the taking the knee. So obviously, in every game so far, of this Euros, they've been taking the knee just before kickoff. Some of the games, fans are booing it, are jeering, they're taking the knee. They don't see the point. Holland, altogether, they decided that then they will not take the knee before the game. England Southgate made the whole plea because the England fans in the friendlies were booing the taking the knee situation. Jake, shed some more light on that, man. What do you make of that? First of all, that Holland, Gini Wijnaldum as the captain, standing captain, has decided for the team and together that they will not take the knee. What do you think about that?
I mean, this is the problem I have with it. So, like, I see on Facebook, like, there was this one guy. So he was my driving instructor, right? And so it's a post that I think Diane Abbott made, agreeing with Gary Lineker's tweet saying about the knee, like we should support it. And he's going, well, maybe the fans don't want BLM shoved down their throat. And it's like, well, your ignorance is so alarming at the moment. It's unbelievable, because like, time and time again, the players have explained they're doing this for equality. That's all they're doing it for. They want to take a stand for equality. And time and time again, people continue to ignore that and go, oh, it's Black Lives Matter. Oh, they're shoving politics into football, blah, blah, blah. It's like
Marxism and that I've seen as well. Yeah,
Marxism. That was a very awful funny it was. Like I would, it's disgusting. It really is. Like, you see players in the Premier League, right, are taking the knee for their clubs because that's what the Premier League have said. And then in the England-Croatia game today, Croatia decided not to take the knee, but they've got Premier League players. So why has taking the knee now changed because you play for your country? Like, surely it's your stance and you feel like taking the knee is the right thing to do. Oh, no, wait, you're being told to, and you don't want to be the odd one out that doesn't do it because you don't believe it. So that's where the problem of, I guess, people don't see it as the...
So do you feel, so like from Holland's perspective, Gini Wijnaldum deciding for the team that they will not take the knee, and obviously the team has backed him with that. Do you feel like that's a problem, or do you understand where he would come from? Or have you? I don't know if you've.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the reasons. I'll be completely honest, but I'm guessing from a point of view, it's because it is a very divisive thing, right? And I'm guessing Gini Wijnaldum is being a good captain in the sense that if I make this decision, it's taking the heat off of my players, but they should want to take the knee. That's how I see it. And
I mean, if Gini's coming to that conclusion, surely he must be speaking to the players, the Dutch national team, and what people are feeding to him, and that's the best decision he's come up with.
Yeah, I think the vast majority, especially the black players in the Dutch team, similar to Zaha's stance, they're kind of on that wave where it's like they don't see we take the knee, we do this, but nothing changes, nothing really happens, and it's just right now it's just become a token thing. And I think this is the stance that Gini Wijnaldum and the fellow Dutch players have taken that position as well, where they feel like, yes, it's for equality, but we keep taking the knee, nothing really happens, nothing really changes. Equality does not change by gestures, it changes by actions. And because there's no genuine action, especially Holland is a very, pretty racist in certain things as well. So I think probably from that perspective, he's talking about, and they've decided that we don't need to take the knee to show that we are for equality, X, Y, Z.
So do you think that if we look at him as, a Liverpool player, obviously he's not a Liverpool player anymore, but his time as a Liverpool player for this season, and obviously he was partaking in the gesture, right, of taking the knee with the rest of the team. So obviously we know that Jordan Henderson is very, he's kind of thrown his hat in the ring many times in terms of his involvement and contributions to the equality movement, let's say. Do you think it's just him backing his captain in that regard, and maybe he's had some opinions about, whether he feels it's pointless or not? Because obviously we've seen Zaha completely go against it, and I'm thinking, if he did have these feelings strong enough to, as the acting captain, say that the whole team shouldn't do it, where was that
in the Premier League?
In the Premier League, it's just a question. I'm not like calling him out, but it's just I want to know the thought process.
It's a decent. I'm not sure if he actually. I'm sure someone would have asked him that as well, but I'm not sure. I haven't got. I'm not sure why, but maybe because. He's probably the only one, or the vast majority did want to take the knee. Jordan Henderson is the captain. But now he is the captain of Holland, so he's kind of the deciding factor in this as well. So I don't know, man, in that particular, but that's a good question, to be honest.
Probably just a collective,
collective agreement,
choice.
Because with the Holland one, I know the black players most of the black players, they're the ones, it's like a collective thing amongst them that they don't want to take the knee. So maybe it's that. Maybe at Liverpool, Mane wants to take the knee. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know. But Gareth Southgate wrote an open letter to England and its fans as well, right? In the tribunal.
Yeah. It was
tribunal report.
It was very eloquent of him. And you think of managers these days, and some will take a stance, some will be very political and try not to say anything to harm anyone. But Southgate, he was just expressing support from his players. Like, look, these guys have decided to do it. Why do you openly boo something that they stand for?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, fair enough to the guy. He's obviously going to be judged on his results. We can't really get away from that, especially as England manager. But just from a cultural standpoint, I think he recognises the role of England managers, one that, you see the nation when the football's on. The last World Cup, everyone was in such a good mood. Everyone was singing the songs. We were all having a great time, and that was the unifying factor that football is and always should be. And it is a hard job to balance, and he could have easily just stood on the sidelines and went and just tried to avoid the conversation or tried to say the most blandest possible statements. But for him to take that stance and say he supports the players, he wants to continue with it and whatnot, fair play to him, really. And truly, that was something that will always be in his credit. It seems like he's got the finger on the pulse of the team in that regard, that he needs to be the supporting factor, not just for his team, but from a cultural standpoint. He is a figurehead. He's a role model. He's someone that people will look at for inspiration. And
I'm sure he's had conversations with the likes of Sterling as well to further understand the plight, So
I think he definitely, I think it's one of those ones as well where he needs to tread very carefully as the head of the football team, because we know in the past under his management there have actually been racial incidents, so in terms of how he responds to that and how he supports that, as Jake says, is important that he continues to maintain that energy in terms of the support he gives to the players and the message behind taking the knee as well. So I think he knows himself that the fact that there have been experiences firsthand within this England team that he's seen. So if I take it back to, is it Tyrone Mings against Bulgaria?
Yeah.
Was it Bulgaria? Yeah, Bulgaria. Mm-hmm. So that's a really really prominent one. So it's not something he can really take the blind eye to, because he's seen it. He's experienced it. It's not something that he can say, oh well, because I haven't seen firsthand anything like that. He's actually seen it. He's been amongst it. So for him to then turn his back or pretend he doesn't see or hear these things,
it will get tight. Yeah, facts. Yeah. So are you saying he's just putting up a front, or he knows, or is it genuine?
I think it is genuine, but I feel like it's probably one of those ones where I'm not. I know what you're saying, man. I know what you're saying. Because I don't want to assassinate the guy's character or anything like that. But it's one of those ones where it probably took the experiences for him to
get
really,
to that conclusion.
Get to the level where he's at now.
Sometimes that's what's needed. Of course. Sometimes, man. At least he's there. Some people. Actual teammates will still turn a blind eye, man. Exactly. Which has also happened. Shout out Southgate, shout out Gini. Let everyone do however they want to do, but of course, like Jake said, man, equality should be the main ethos with football all across the world, man. Without further ado, man, let's get to the business, man. Euros is back, and we've seen 6 games actually, if we include the current game that's going on, Austria, Macedonia. Shalom, man, how have you experienced it? Lived up to expectations, or?
I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the quality of football. Obviously, barring what happened with the Danish game yesterday, it's been great.
About the first game as well, to be honest, from a Turkish perspective, they were poor.
They were poor, but you have to give credit to Italy, because
they were good.
They just suffocated them. And I think the problem, not the problem, the beautiful thing about Turkey is that I think they get underestimated, and as such they play really well when you underestimate them. Italy didn't make that mistake. They were very clinical. They knew their job. They did it well. They pressured them. To make a mistake, and that was it. Game done.
But so, I think Turkey played very negative, man. And they don't play like that. They were very deep first of all, which I understand, because Italy can get in behind. We're probably only Insigne, but he doesn't really get in behind. He cuts in and shoots. So I didn't get that. Maybe because of Berardi, fine. But they didn't play at all, man. Like, they didn't do anything.
I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the Italians' game plan. They literally just suffocate, just like how City plays. City suffocates you into you just being defensive and making a mistake. So the best way to counter that, like you said, is to be brave and take the fight to them, which I think Turkey,
which normally they do, but
they do, yeah.
It was missing, man.
It was missing. I just don't know why. Hopefully in the second game they can show us what they're about. But the first game they were not about. So well done, Italy.
What did you guys make of Italy, man? Jake.
I mean,
press.
they ruined my shout for flop, so fair play. No, I mean, Italy, they showed the form that they had before the tournament. Like, I expressed doubts because they were beating teams like Armenia 9-1. Like, I get playing very well against those teams is something, but to do it in a tournament. But at the same time, it looked like a training game. It just looked like attack versus defense for most of it. Italy were fantastic. Like that midfield three, Jorginho, Barella, and Locatelli. Like that Locatelli is a baller.
Bro, because Press said Locatelli was mad. I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
This guy was balling, bro.
Yeah. For me, I felt like I don't know.
His gas in it. His gas.
Yeah, his gas has been a lot. Like his gas has been a lot. So maybe I just had higher expectations and it came under that. But I didn't say he didn't have a good game. But I just thought, he didn't wow me.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, he was all right, man.
As well, Kenna saying that Barella is not a good player.
Well, bike. Just say it, man. If his bike is bike, man, just say it.
Yeah. It is bike. Let's pretend that kid, for Inter, he is fantastic. And just again, like he is such a dynamic player. And
to be fair, what Kenna said though, he's just an all right player, but nothing too spectacular, which I kind of agree with.
I disagree.
Yeah.
See how the rest of the tournament goes on that front. But Italy, for me, I mean, yeah, like I think for me, their wing backs I was a bit iffy of because Florenzi's not a wing back; he just plays at right back, and then Spinazzola. He is again,
man.
He played brilliantly, but he masquerades at left back. Like,
bro,
forward, he's fantastic defensively, but he didn't get challenged. And he was able to show off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That Italy team, to a fault, looked fantastic, and their route to at least the semis is looking difficult.
Looking decent, man.
Yeah. So from thinking they're a flop to thinking semis is quite.
It's quite a turnaround, man. Hey, you're lucky Ken ain't here, man. Too.
Also, we have to give it to Mancini how he's making them play. That's another shout out.
Because Italy have been in a Gaza, since I don't know for how long, but Mancini's kind of turned it around for them and making them look like contenders for this. So
yeah.
And I also saw what's his name, Cellini, pressing up the pitch. I was like, huh? What are you doing up there? It was being so progressive. I was like, okay, that is a good sign that you guys are really feeling yourself. So, I want to see Italy against Wales and Switzerland, man. I think the next game is against Switzerland. Yeah. I really want to see them against opposition that would take it to them a bit more.
Yeah, because Turkey really didn't offer much, man.
They disappointed, man. Yeah,
proper good. They made them look proper good, man.
I'm not sure about Wales. I think yes, they did well against the Swiss, but still, I think Italy.
Let's go there, man. Because let's go to that game because I don't think they did, man. Personally,
I mean, they did well to earn a draw against the Swiss. Yeah, but the Swiss were better.
I thought they were lucky, man.
I have this problem with Switzerland in that it seems like they make every major tournament, but never do anything with that. Like they are the make up the numbers team. They never go on a surprising run. Like you think to last year is with Wales, like they made it to the semis, and I completely agree. I think Danny Ward in goal, who doesn't have a team at the minute, if I'm correct, was prime Casillas.
Yeah, he was moving mad.
He was moving mad.
He just could not stop saving. And Kiefer Moore, in the air, looked really good. I thought Dan James had a good game for Wales. I still remember when he got subbed off in the 75th, and he was raging.
Yeah, he should take time, man.
Absolute disbelief. But I think that's a massive point for Wales, more so than Switzerland. You would have thought Switzerland would have wanted to win that. But Wales, if they just win a game against Turkey, or probably not Italy, so Turkey.
But why?
Game through.
They're not beating Turkey. I can guarantee you that.
My thing is this. Why do teams, especially these type of teams like Turkey, Wales, whenever they go behind, that's when they start playing, and it really upsets me. Like Wales started playing when they were down. That's when they actually started balling. But
it's psychology, isn't it? When you have nothing to lose.
But it's dead, bro. Go out and play, man. I wanted to shout out someone from Switzerland, Mbolo.
Yeah, Brill.
Man.
Brill.
Yeah.
Because a lot's been said about that guy. Cusp of Starboy talks. Next stop for Switzerland. It's a couple of years ago though. But he hasn't really, made that get on that. Yeah, me.
He bullied the two centre backs, man.
But yeah, man. He was brilliant. Jake, you was marveling about him.
Like I play a lot of Football Manager, and back in the days, Mbolo was the kid to get.
It was the kid to get.
Like it was the one where he took the ball on the turn and just ran past both centre backs. Not there. The finish though was suspect. He looked like a prime Sterling in that he can do the rest of it, but as soon as it is that last bit, straight. But then he won the header, and it was a great header. Great header in the corner, you're not saving that. And he was a menace. Joe Rodon, he hasn't really done that much for Spurs, but for Wales, from the guys that I know, they absolutely love him. They think he's fantastic. But
they had Ben Davies as centre back as well.
But that harkens back to 2016. He's not quite there anymore, is he? Let's be fair. But I tell you what, Wales, they weren't the better side without a doubt. Sean's completely right. Switzerland should be more aggrieved of the two to have not won. But
for sure.
Day, you can't complain. It's 1-1. You've got to take that point now. Switzerland have got a very hard game against Italy coming up, and Wales
got a must win, I think.
Yeah, and then Wales have got to knuckle down against Turkey.
Yep. And then obviously the following game was obviously Denmark v Finland, Scandinavian derby, which was huge shadow casted over that because of the Eriksen situation. But if we remove that incident for now, the first 42 minutes, if you guys watched it, I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah,
so
Denmark were all over them, man.
Yeah, they were the Denmark.
Denmark was all over them, but Finland held their own, bro. Finland. I mean,
they just had Pookie up front.
Yes, so that's what it. No. But in the sense of Finland were giving it to them, tackles flying in, and
I mean,
once or twice got behind them, played. Yeah. Kept the ball well at Spurs.
Bored at all. It's their first ever major tournament appearance, and great to them. They, like you say, they were backs against the wall, but they looked fairly strong.
For me, they were kind of comfortable. Yeah. Kind of.
It wasn't too bad for them, and then obviously, after the Eriksen incident, having to pick themselves up like that. I couldn't imagine having to do that.
Yeah,
but they did, and they did what professionals do, and I think that's the ultimate respect you can give to both sets of players. Is that?
But the issue here with Denmark is they obviously rely a lot on Eriksen.
Yeah, he's their best player, man.
He's their best player. As soon as he left, it just went. Who have they got up front again?
Braithwaite
and Jonas Wind and Poulsen.
Oh, Wind as well. Yeah, he's crap, man.
Yeah, I mean, Holbeck should have scored that, and
that was a poor penalty, man. I was upset about that.
He should have just smashed it through and just deal with it, and do it.
Yeah, Denmark. I mean. But we're not gonna put this on them too much, obviously, regarding the circumstances. Hopefully, they can pick themselves up for the next game, which will be either Belgium or Russia. That was the game that was happening at 9:00 yesterday as well. Lukaku with 2 goals. Who scored the other one for them? Or was it?
And Thomas Meunier.
Thomas Meunier, correct.
Meunier as well.
Good finish from Meunier.
Yeah,
Belgium, man. What are you guys saying?
Hey,
are we not getting gas yet? It's only Russia.
I think Drew just looked into his magic ball and got that call for Lukaku to be the top scorer this year, because he just started with a bang, and they're definitely
he's going to collect in the group stages, man, for sure.
Press. I want to go to you and Lukaku, man, because obviously, his spell at United. Yeah. Admittedly, I think everyone can admit here it was not good. We can agree with United fans there. You guys almost chased him out of the club, but since then he's been, brilliant, so to speak. Especially last season, this season that just finished. What do you make of him, man? And the 2 finishes yesterday,
Yeah, 2 very clinical finishes, man. Left and right foot. Second finish was obviously more impressive. When Lukaku gets his motor going, he's a hard man to stop. If I'm honest with you, Lukaku has always had the tools. We've always known that, the physical attributes, he's always had them. And I feel like he's matured as a football player now, and he's playing to his strengths more than ever. I feel like it's hard to leave him out of, if we're talking like the world conversation, it's hard to leave him out of the top 5 strikers in the world right now, simply because he's proved himself at Inter that he's able to lead the line of a big club, and he's led them to a title. So yeah, Lukaku, I mean, I'm glad that he's doing well now. As we've already mentioned, his time at United wasn't the greatest. Too many holes in his game, and my opinion about his time at United was a frustrating one. But yeah, man, I don't think at this point in time I don't have any bad words to say about Lukaku, man. He's matured fantastically.
But what I don't understand is that did he massively change from United to Inter? Because I think the change that he went through was just that, okay, I'm just going to show you guys that I'm good enough.
I feel like that's why I said matured. I didn't necessarily say like improved as such. I feel like when I say matured, I feel like he's now playing to his strengths. He's now doing what he knows how to do well, and he's doing it in abundance, and you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, I would happily agree with that, Prince. I think there's also a case of at United, obviously, it's a bigger club than Inter. We can be completely fine with that. I think he was a very important cog of that part of that system, right? Whereas at Inter, he is the cog that makes that system tick. Like you can talk about.
I think he likes that.
Yeah, like you can talk about Lo Toro, you can talk about Barella, you can talk about
Sanchez.
But Lukaku makes that team tick when he's on form, rampaging, linking up play, finishing as well as he does. And he's brought that to Belgium in this. He looks like a man who is completely comfortable with himself and his role and at the height of his powers.
Yeah.
And all I say is I'm glad I am not an international centre-back at the minute, because I would not want to go against that boy.
Marauder.
Yeah. It's not even that. Yeah, yesterday I also saw like he was trying to do the playmaking thing as well, which I really like. I was like, okay, you're trying to.
He did a switch with his right foot. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I saw him take two defenders on, like trying to do some skills. Like,
bro,
is this
Lukaku now?
Yeah,
man.
Is on the.
I'm happy for him, man. But like I said, man, before I put him on the top dogs list, I need to see him do it this tournament with Belgium. He needs to take Belgium to the promised land, because they're looking at him now like, do it for us.
So you don't think he's top 5 strikers in the world right now?
I think he's, if he is, he's 5th.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact is, like, that Belgium team as well is only going to get better. You've got Witsel to come back. You've got De Bruyne to hit top form. There's even the chance they could rely on Hazard. I don't think they will.
What do you think of the cameo?
I think that Jay, you can answer. Chelsea, you answer first.
I do want to see a fully fit Eden again. I really do. I don't think it's going to happen. Don't get me wrong, but like that's the thing. A player of Eden's talent, like you can bet against it, but it's one. He could just have a game in the elimination where he comes on for 20 minutes and just sparkles. You can't rule that out, and that's the problem that other teams will face. Like you'll see him coming on and just be like, right, okay, this isn't going to be fun. And he could just light it up.
For that final goal, though, like, I don't know if you guys remember the passage of play, but the through ball that came to, that eventually came through to Lukaku before he slotted it in, Hazard came short expecting the ball to come to him. And you know what he usually does is he drives at the heart of the defenders and then finds the final ball. But he almost he was almost like a second thought. Like the ball didn't come to him. Like it was like, we don't need you to do this right now. I'm just going to play the ball directly. And I feel like he kind of, because his head kind of dropped in that moment. So I kind of feel like he kind of knows himself that he's not relied upon in this Belgian team anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, it is up to him to hit top form. No one's gonna beg him. He has to do it because he didn't even start. His brother did, didn't he? So
yeah.
His cameo was promising though, but it felt like he tried too hard, man. He tried way too hard to
roll back the clocks.
Yeah, way too hard, man. Need to keep it simple.
It's crazy that Belgium cannot rely on £100 million player. Like I get he's not in good form. that is it, isn't it? Like Mertens is in fantastic form, and Torgan Hazard and Carrasco as wing backs, you wouldn't think they'd be effective, but they are ripping them apart. The only thing about this Belgian team that they don't look great in is that whilst they've got so much experience at the back, That is a slow backline. And
But
it is prone to
Derek
Yeah.
Boyata.
He was good though.
He was solid, to be fair. Yeah.
He was solid. What did you guys make of Russia? Artem Zhuba. Looks like an NBA player.
Nothing.
Yeah,
They offered nothing, man.
Sorry, Perez. There's one thing that kind of stuck out to me is very kind of obscure, but a Fernandez playing for Russia, that spun me.
Bro, he needed a passport, B. You know how it is.
That spun me.
Brazilian boy.
Yeah, Russia were disappointing. They just got rolled over. They weren't the better team, and you can try and keep it respectable and go maybe 1-0, 2-0, but they just got rolled over. They got moved out the way, and
They were the home team as well, man.
Yeah, they were.
Psychological coaching job here to pick them back up, because this group, like, it is unfortunate, but Denmark and Finland, what are their actions going to be from that game? That is going to be so tough for them to bounce back, you might think. And Russia, like, they have an opportunity to bounce back. They've got to take it. It's now for them, every game's must win. They have.
I think they're going to be bike personally.
What, Russia?
In their group, yeah.
Mad. Yeah, Finland might be the surprise to go through, you know.
Yeah, the way they play gives me a headache. And if a better playing team like Russia can step up to them, I can see Russia.
Yo, but hold on. You're talking about Mario Fernandez at Russia. What about Glenn Kamara at Finland? I didn't know it was Finnish.
we knew this.
Oh, you knew? Oh,
yeah,
see,
we knew this.
I didn't know that, but I was baffed. I was like, huh?
Although when I saw, I was like, what the hell? But now I realized, yeah. We knew this.
Glenn, Yana. Hey, everyone's claiming nationality now because of Euros. It's calm. All right, let's go to the game today then. England, Croatia.
England.
Coming home.
What did we make of it? But first of all, the lineup came through, and both Chilwell didn't even make the squad. Yeah. Shaw was on the bench.
Sancho didn't make the squad.
Sancho didn't make the squad neither. Trippier started left back. Take it away, gents.
I mean, his decision's paid off. Like, let's call it how it is. We won 1-0. I don't think England ever looked particularly troubled. Calvin Phillips in the middle of the park.
Brilliant.
Like,
brilliant, man.
Head this season. Like, nobody's rated him. And that, well, no, I won't say nobody's rated him, because I rated him.
I question him doing it at this level.
Yeah, same.
He showed me, I guess, a good midfield that he can.
I think he keeps it very simple. He does his job, and that's very, very important with Calvin Phillips.
He is Pep's wet dream of a midfielder, and he was tactically fouling everywhere. Every time someone got half a yard of space, like, you're going down.
Yeah.
Get down and get yourself out.
When Modric was making that run, I don't know if you remember, and he just clarted him. Yeah. Because if Modric got through, it would have been peak.
Exactly.
So yeah, man.
He was fantastic. Mings, I've said a lot about Mings, and I have to take it back for that game, because he was clearing everything. And even with, like, his face to his own goal, he didn't do anything stupid. He didn't force any bad passes. Very calm. Like, I think it was one way he cleared it out with his left foot looking off, but he was getting everyone upfield. Like, he was being the vocal commander, which again surprised me. But he, like, to a fault, was brilliant.
Also, as well as England being good, I thought Croatia weren't dynamic enough. I think
they didn't press. I don't remember any pressing moments from Croatia at all.
I think when we see how good England would be when they play a team that will press them, a team that has really good attackers. That's when we'll see how good England will be. But the game, very good. Calvin Phillips good. Kane unlucky. Foden also unlucky.
Let's call a spit. Kane was quiet, bro.
Quiet game for Kane, man.
I've been having this argument all day because, like, Sterling was our second best player for me after Calvin.
Yeah, facts.
He was fantastic. Like, he was the only threat for us. And
Mount as well.
Mount was good.
Yeah.
Mount linking up played very nicely.
Mount was his normal level, bro. You get me. But that's Mount, bro.
Sterling, you could argue he could have had more, and perhaps he definitely should. Like, I know Perez obviously said he was ruthless. That one where he skied it, where, like, it bounced up on his left foot, that was bad. But he was our only threat. And then compared to Kane, who I thought was quite poor, like, he was at least 10, if not 15 yards, way too deep. Like there were times where he was popping up just in the wrong places. Like you're not playing for Spurs. You don't need to connect the play like you do there. You need to be that predator in front of goal that we know you are. And Foden, I thought after that initial shot, which Sterling created, where he hit it on the post, I thought he faded out the game, if I'm completely honest. Whereas
he did.
I think they doubled on him as well.
Yeah, they
doubled him a lot. Yeah.
Whenever he got the ball, I saw Perisic just coming back just to give that double.
You know what, man? That's a compliment, man. That's a compliment.
It did help that Kyle Walker had an awful game going forward.
Yeah.
Like, defensively, he was fine, but going forward, he did not offer nearly enough. And Trippier on the left as well, I don't think he offered too much. Like there was one where Mount played him through and he could have...
Couple balls over the top.
Yeah.
In the first half. Good balls over the top. Shit free kick.
Yeah. The free kick was okay. I didn't think it was anything too special. Mount's was nearer the goal. But, I mean, like I say, it worked out.
Yeah.
You can't fault Gareth's decision for it. We kept the clean sheet whilst remaining relatively untroubled. Like, I can't think of one decent Croatia opportunity. So, fair play to Gareth. Like, he was bold in his decision making.
That midfield three needs to be the main midfield now, because I feel like just thinking about their performances and the pressure they put on the Croatian players as well. Like you'd almost have at certain points in the game like 2-3 players around one player, a Croatian player trying to win the ball back. And then I think back to the way let's say Mount and Calvin Phillips especially play for their clubs, and the discipline that's kind of instilled in them when it comes to pressing. So it's almost it's quite an easy transferable thing for them, because it's something that they do for their club, and it's something that they're probably
and
they
all have clear roles that they execute so well. Declan Rice just in front of the centre backs.
You know how happy I am to see him as the anchor. Oh my gosh!
Just like sweeping everything, helping, anchoring. They got Calvin Phillips, who is just in front of him but controlling it, feeding the balls through. Occasionally goes forward, and Mount, who kind of had like a free roll in the 8.
Yep.
It's a madness, man. It for me, I agree. This is why I asked Kenner, is Henderson having a look in, bro? Your dark car. He's not doing anything better than Rice would be doing.
I think
he'd probably be a substitute for him.
Yeah,
or Calvin Phillips.
Since February, like that is the long and short of it. Like we're playing essentially knockout football, and right now, where it will be in 2 games' time at the very least. But it is such high-pressure football. Like I put it in the chat earlier, we need to win against Scotland now, because that gives us a game against the Czechs where, okay, you can afford to start Henderson and get more game time under his legs. You can afford to maybe tinker around or give someone like Kane a rest, because he did look tired. Like he didn't look dynamic whatsoever. And
do you guys think he might be finished?
No.
I saw a couple of whispers on the timeline that physically he's looking a bit.
Kane finished.
Physically, on a physical tip. Because today,
yeah. I mean, either way, the players have played a considerable amount of games anyway, so they will be, of course, tired. But just going back to that Calvin Phillips situation, a little bit of perspective, because this is his first game at an international level and the Euros. So I think we might need to give him a little bit more time before we say, okay, Calvin Phillips over Henderson or Rice over Henderson. That's my point.
I think the right
hot hand, man.
I think facts. Yeah, I think the Rice over Henderson is because I think they're 2 very identical players. I've always said like Rice is just like a taller version of Henderson, basically.
Yeah.
And if Rice is doing what he's doing to a good degree or even an excellent degree, then keep him.
I think Phillips is probably the one more at risk in terms of reputation and the way.
But I'm not having Rice and Hendo, bro. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
What you man telling me? You can tell me better, but nah, man.
If Calvin and Rice keep playing the way they are, again, it would be very bold. But I mean, Gareth's shown he can do it. It'd be very bold of him to drop one of them for Henderson. Because it's going to be the knockout stage. That's going to be the most important game, I think. Because Scotland, we're going to need to be more expansive. They're going to be a bit more defensive. Obviously, they play 5 at the back. So does Gareth maybe change the system to match up and see?
I think one of the left backs will play. I think one of the because you need to be outside for that Scotland game, man. Because obviously Trippier on the left back, he's always inside. He's not like running down the wing. So I think one of the left backs will definitely play in that game, man.
Who do you drop for that? Because in my mind, you can only drop Mount or Foden then in that one because you're going to play Kane up top, obviously. You're going to play Rice. You could maybe drop Phillips, but again, that'd be harsh to drop him after that game. You can't drop Sterling because he's the only one that's offering the pace and behind. That does leave Mount or Foden for one of those spots that you'd drop for him because obviously I'm assuming you go Trippier right wing back, Kyle Walker right centre back, Stones, Mings, and then you've got that left wing back who would be probably Shaw. So that's where, for me, I can see the vision, but that's going to be tough for Southgate.
Yeah, one of them, man. Yeah. We'll see, man.
He's proved it. He's made great decisions. Let's hope he keeps it up because football's coming home.
All right. So obviously, who's Scotland playing? They're in the same group, innit? But they're tomorrow. Czech Republic. That's who they're playing.
Yeah, the Czech.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of that? Let's have a preview.
It's going to be a big game. Like it's going to be a big game for both of them. It's very similar to you'd say maybe like Austria and North Macedonia or Wales, Switzerland, in that they're probably seen as the third and fourth best teams in the group. So if you win that game, you're in great position to qualify, even as a third place finisher. If you lose that game, you've got to really turn it on for the next two. And if you draw it again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you've got to step up in your competition. I think Scotland should fancy themselves. They don't lose many games. They look like an effective team. Like Tierney and Robertson on the left have sort of sorting themselves out. There's been a lot of calls to start Billy Gilmore, which as a Chelsea fan, I can only help with because I'd love to see him starting. But like they've got Che Adams up top now. He's another one of those guys that's transferred his nationality in time for the Euros. And by all accounts, he's been quite impressive.
McGinn as well.
Yeah. Johnny.
Woo! Scotland, who's the striker? Who's the striker? Oh, Che Adams.
Che Adams, yeah. McTomo, Scott McTomo.
Man, forget about that, Donny, man.
He plays at centre back more time, doesn't he?
Does he?
Yeah, he's a centre back for them, I think. But he shows it off. But then the Czech Republic, I mean, they've got Souček, they've got Kufal, like they've got players, and to underestimate them is at your own peril. It'll be an interesting game.
All right, man. Obviously, earlier, Austria beat Macedonia 3-1. Prez sweepstake pick. I watched a bit of that game, though. Macedonia, they look on it, bro. Like, they're so whack, but they're just giving it a go.
You think that they could steal a third place finish, possibly?
Bro, I don't know, man. Maybe.
I'm not putting my house on that, man.
But I could definitely see Holland, who are playing later, fumbling the bag against them. Somehow, someway. Somehow, bro, Holland, fam, the way, somehow, someway, bro, they'll fumble the bag like a 1-0 thing. But yeah, Holland, Ukraine in half an hour's time. I'm sure you guys will be watching it. Most of you predicted Holland to win.
Yeah.
I'm shook, man. So I went the Ukraine way.
Did you?
Yeah, I went Ukraine, man, because I don't trust this. I don't trust
that. You're saying that live, you know. Sometimes support, man. Support you.
Listen, I support the dogs, man. Always.
Okay.
But the only issue I have an issue with Frank de Boer, man, because obviously, if you know Boer, what formation is synonymous with Holland?
4-3-3.
4-3-3.
Thank you.
It's even so bad like they sent like an airplane to tell him 4-3-3. But
thank you. This guy is doing 5-3. This guy is doing like the wing back thing.
3-5-2, yeah, 3-5-2.
We've never played that. The last time we played that, exactly. But that was a necessity thing, and that was Van Gallis. You get me? That's a seasoned coach, bro.
Yeah.
Where players would actually do it for him.
Especially, you think of the Netherlands right now. You've got De Vrij for Inter. You've got De Ligt at Juve. Like you've got some properly good centre backs. I don't see why you'd need a third.
He's injured. He's injured, De Ligt, or just coming off an injury. So
with Daily Blind or Duran Timber. Is that how you say?
we spell it Duran Timber.
Yeah,
he's a Ajax Academy. He's really good, but young and inexperienced, but he's good. Stefan de Vrij, of course.
Yeah,
and Daily Blind.
So essentially, I share your pessimism, as you call it, with this Holland team, because they can either turn up or they cannot. So,
But my thing is this, because Frank de Boer, this is why I hate him, because he's very biased towards Ajax. When you have Nathan Ake, local, why you? If I was Ake, yeah, I'd be vexed. Timber, fair enough. Your talent, your Ajax, you're great for the World Cup next year, baby, or for the next Euros. But you're not playing ahead of me. I just made a 50 million move to City.
Yeah,
I'd be vexed, man. Like I don't know where he's playing at, but we'll see how this works out, man. We'll see how this works out. We got Dumfries right back, who's playing right wing back. He's never played right wing back in his life. Fair enough. We got Wijnaldum in the middle. We got Frankie de Jong. We got Martin de Roon. Bro.
Van Arnold
Playing left wing back. Wout Weghorst and Depay leading the line, man. So
although I want to see Don Marlin, have a get a start.
Play your 4-3-3. Marlon, Weghorst, Depay, calm. Like just play your. I don't get it. Let's see, man, because they must have been training with this. Obviously on the Ukraine side, we've got what's his name, Donny Zinchenko, Yarmolenko.
As she says, it's Zinchenko. That's about the names I know.
He doesn't play. He plays like a DM, doesn't he?
He's a DM CM for them, man.
For them, yeah.
I think that's his actual position as well on the come up.
Really weird formation, 4-1-2-2-1. That's the first time I've seen that formation being played.
Shevchenko is known. I mean, Shevchenko's been really good for them as manager, but he is known chop and changes formations. Like, we'll see how they go. I mean, it's going to be an exciting game because, like you say, Drew, like the Holland have got that little bit of towards them that, as Char would say, they're smelly.
Yeah. We'll see, man. And I definitely would like to hear your feedback on the Dutch team, man, because I'm extremely pessimistic, but hopeful. Let's head to the bar, man. I'm sure that we all have a collective shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wants to lead the way, man, with this? Who wants to drop the eulogy?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it on. Like, heart goes out to Christian Eriksen and his family. Strength, like something crazy to go through. I think we all had a collective sigh of relief to hear that he was stable. Just hope you're happy and healthy for the rest of your life, man. Like, make the decisions that are best for you. I think we'd all love to see him on the football pitch again if he can. But at the same time, don't risk it, my guy. Don't risk it. You are a fantastic footballer. You can leave a great legacy behind on the pitch. As Prez said, we can't wait to see if you want to be off the pitch, come back into football. I think we'd all welcome that. I can't wait to see him again, to say the least, just to see him smiling, happy and healthy, giving me the thumbs up.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
I agree.
We'll end it on that note, man. Thank you for listening. Please do follow us on VARBAR Podcast on Twitter, at the VARBAR Podcast on Insta. I think I know I keep messing that up, but it is what it is. We're also on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and share. We're back next week again with Euro Breakdown. My name is Andrew, aka Rapping Drew. Press, Jake, and Jay Mace, and we're out.
Peace.
You guys
Take it
later.
easy.
Hey, Kai.